Welcome back to another edition of the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex Fortyfive. Tonight we got the real Louis Ortega. We got Reese from Attack Yamaha Performance. We got TJ from Two Wheels and Coffee. What's going on, fellas? How's everyone doing? We'll start with TJ.
Got a whole week off of racing and get a little refresh. It's September 1st. Still cool up here. Our summer's over, like I said, but I'm excited. Get back to watching MotoGP, World Superbike, and then following week MotoAmerica. It's getting tight end of the year racing, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a lot cold up there, man. I was just up there. I just got back this morning, and I had the heat on over the weekend. I went to party for some of the fellas I know. Shout out to the Big D crew. And it was chilly up in Boston, man. I don't know what's going on, but it wasn't usually
Always.
this cold, that cold up there. But it was a little chilly, man. So, did you put the bike up yet, or you gonna wait it
Oh
another
no.
month?
Oh no. I ride until it gets at least 40 degrees
Uh-huh.
before you start. Got to put on heated gear and stuff like that. But you know,
All right.
joyriding, I'd say, is not as much. Can't go joyriding. Just A to B really.
Gotcha. Is joyriding code for you breaking the law?
I mean, you can't really joyride on the streets, man. Now knowing the track and stuff like that, like the ground's cold, you can't really do much. So
All right, that's what's up. Reese, man, what's going on? How you doing? Where you are in the world? You got a few zip codes, I think.
Yeah, man. Out here in Oregon, heading down to Huntington Beach. Well, living the life, man. Can't complain. Just finished testing, so out there in Podium Club, so we're good to go.
I was gonna say, I mean, if it was any other time in the year, you might be able to say you can complain, but you boys are, you guys are right there. So we're gonna dive into it and see how things are progressing. There's a few more rounds left, and a lot of racing actually. So we'll dive into that. Lewis, what's good, man? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm here in also in California, where Reese is headed. I'm here for a few days for work, and yeah, that's it. Here in another wonderful, shitty motel somewhere.
Come on, man. Isn't that life just a wonderful? And then I have you. I mean, you must have gotten to the point where you forget which room you're in, your room number, right?
Let's put it this way: I've traveled so much that I've been in the same room multiple times in different states. Like I've been doing the road thing for a long time, not just in this industry, but in other industries.
Yeah.
And when you travel to similar cities, if I go to a city that I've never been to before, I book one night only at a hotel just in case that hotel sucks. I don't have to stay there the entire stay.
Yeah.
And after that first night, if it's good, then I'll book additional nights. If not, I'll book one night at another hotel. So these are the little things you learn as you live on the road is, how to find good places to stay, good places to eat. So I have a map of like everywhere I travel, like where I should stay.
Okay. All right. So do you have a guitar case full with stickers on it?
No. I don't try to make it too obvious, but
All right.
I got a lot of miles on my American Airlines frequent flyer. Let's put it that
All
way.
right, that's what's up, man. We'll book a trip later this year somewhere. I got some points too. Speaking of points and trips, between World Superbike, MotoGP, MotoAmerica, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other racing that are either ending or coming close to the end of the season and stuff like that. It's been a long time that MotoGP, World Superbike, and MotoAmerica, been coming down to the wire as far as the last few races and stuff like that. So let's talk about MotoGP first because that's kind of and we talk about the SuperSport classes as well, not just like the Superbike class or the GP class, as well. But let's talk about MotoGP first because it looks like Marquez, if he continues his run, he could wrap it up as soon as Mazzano. Looking at the numbers is ridiculous. Looking at that series, you know, I know I've asked a bunch of times, but this is a show, so I got to ask again, just in case the people who have not watched the show before. But is there any chance in hell that anybody can catch Marquez? We'll start with DJ.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, at this point, I mean, they had up until the summer break to try to get close, to try something. I mean, you can see the numbers. We saw it, like he's gotten P1 or P2 in every session throughout, and there's no catching him, not at all.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Reese? Any catching him? Is it his to? I mean, at this point, I mean, he could probably take a few rounds off, at least 4 rounds off, and probably still win.
No, this is game over. I mean, to be that far ahead in points, and what is it? I think he can have the most points in MotoGP history. I mean, that's kind of game over. I mean, what are we really watching? Second and third place now?
Lewis, man, does that make it kind of not as fun to watch for the average fan? I know we're gonna watch because we like all the technical stuff and all the stuff that most people don't see, and all that fun stuff. So
no, I don't think it makes it less enjoyable for the fans, because you got to remember there's been other dominant riders throughout the years that clinched the championship earlier in the season, or clinched the championship with 3 or 4 rounds to go, and people still watch. There's still excitement in watching racing, in the actual event, in the actual drama of Q1, Q2, the sprint race, the actual race. There's still a lot to see. I mean, you watch football games when teams are, have no chance to go into the playoffs. You still go watch those same football games, even though they're irrelevant to the bigger picture, because as individual events, they're entertaining events. Every single event is an entertaining event. For the people that are numbers watchers that are just going to see who's going to win the championship, yeah, maybe for them it's not that exciting. But I think as, again, individual experiential events, every single race is, for me, very, very exciting, because there's, every race has something on the line. Anytime you put your helmet on, whether it's in Formula One or MotoGP or any type of motorsports, anything can happen. And you watch for the drama, because anything can happen. On any given day, maybe somebody that nobody thought could win a race could win a race. If you didn't watch that Austria race a couple years ago where Brad Binder won it on slicks in the rain, you missed an incredible event. And then you kicked yourself in the ass for not watching it. Oh, I didn't watch it because I figured XYZ person was going to win anyway. So I think the viewership will stay high. The drama will continue. And I think now maybe people, at least on the MotoGP side, will switch over to looking at it as, how many points can this guy make? Because right now, the way he's going with 4 rounds left, he'll beat the all-time points record with still 4 rounds left. So he could pad that number. So now, not only does he win the championship, but maybe he sets a bar so high that maybe nobody ever reaches that point again, because this level of dominance doesn't come by very often. And if I look through the field, everybody that's currently in the field, I don't see anybody in the field right now that's ever going to be as dominant as Marc Marquez. And I don't see anybody in Moto2 right now that's ever going to be as dominant as Marc Marquez. Like, it's going to be a long time before another Marc Marquez or alien comes along that can do what he's doing. This is seriously other level. This is Michael Jordan at the peak of his game. This is Tom Brady at the peak of his game. These are all like the best athletes in the world when they're at that point where they seem unbeatable. Like they, auras around them. It's like, holy shit, like this dude he should be crashing every corner, but he's winning every race. Like, how's he doing?
So, Reese and TJ, you just heard what Lewis said about no one in the paddock. What does a new era or a new Marc Marquez look like? Because, Alonso's looking good. We see Aldeguer is looking good. Acosta, they're looking good. These are all guys that have some potential. Do you guys agree with what Lewis is saying as far as it's going to be a long time, or do you see some of these guys if they get the right 1 and 2, 3, advice, they may be able to do what Marquez is doing.
I mean, I think Pedro Acosta probably be the closest one right now because of his driving focus. You just got to get, past that the skill level he's at, to get more podiums and dial down. But I think he'd probably be the closest one. It's hard to say because Mark and like before Rossi, like they had a little significance to them and like changing up things their way. uh, uh, Celebrations and all that good stuff. So I don't see that in any of the riders really. Sounds like Zarco when he does backflips. So I mean, I would say Pedro's probably the closest one out of gear, and all of them are still learning. So yeah, it's like Luz was saying, this is something that we ain't gonna see in a long time. I'm sure, dominance like this, unless Pecco can step it up a little bit because they got 2 championships and he's still in the mix. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how many points Mark can come out with, and set the bar high and have a different legacy than Rossi did in that significant way.
Okay, all right, that's what's up. What are your thoughts, Reese?
I mean, to be honest, I don't think we'll see it in a long time. I mean, you got to look at Marquez. He has set the bar so high, and he's like the last of the dying breed of an alien, as we used to call him. So to have somebody like him come along, that's just once in a blue moon. And I mean, normally when you see that person coming along, you'll see it from Moto3 to Moto2 to MotoGP. And I just don't see it coming up just right now, someone in his caliber or to his level to actually do that. I mean, he has been in the era of where the riders were dominant. You had Rossi, Dovi, Pedrosa. You had the whole gang out there, and he was out there with them. So to that level of his riding capability, I don't think we'll see it for a long period of time. I think it'll be another 10 plus years before we see it.
Okay, all right. It seems like it, man. I mean, only time will tell for these riders and stuff like that. Let's jump into Moto 2. Go ahead.
Real quick, if Mark were to run the table from here to the end of the year, let's say everything, the stars align, and he sweeps the table from here to the end of the year,
16 more wins.
He'll end up with 751 points. We won't see somebody hit 751 points again unless they go to a 3-race weekend format and every race is worth 25 points.
What's the SAT score?
Like that's how crazy it could be if he runs a table, man. If he runs a table from here on out, he'll have over 750 points. That's playing the game on easy mode. It's crazy.
Well, I hope there's some fighters out there in the MotoGP paddock. I think they're a couple, but it's been looking like the Marquez show for sure all year. Let's talk about Moto 2 championship. You got Gonzalez, you got Canet, and Diego Moreira. I don't want to jinx Canet. I know TJ Canet's your boy. I like him too. I wish he had more wins. He's only had 2 wins. He had 1 win this year, which is plus because he's usually coming in second. He's been on the podium 5 times. Gonzalez 4 wins, been on the podium 9 times. Moreira, who's starting to come into his own right now, could be the dark horse that steals it the second year in the Moto 2 paddock. Let's talk about that championship. It's a lot closer. There's 8 rounds left. There's no sprint in Moto 2, so 25 points, I believe, is the top points that they can get. So we got 200 points to give away. How is it looking in Moto 2? I feel like Gonzalez is for him to lose because he's been having some mishap these last few rounds and still on top. But what are your thoughts, TJ?
Yeah, man, I want to see Canet finally pull it off. I mean, he's like the dark horse. I feel like everyone's always against him, and it's unlucky as well. Sometimes I don't understand where like the mistakes that happen, but you also got to say that it's Moto 2, man. They're all in the same machine, and it's like any given Sunday with Moto 2. But Gonzalez has been riding really well. He had a third place and didn't finish in the third place. But Morera is one that looking out for as well because he's creeping and he's not far behind. So it's really a toss up between these three. It's going to be challenging, I'm sure. I know as it gets to the end, I'm sure that your adrenaline and like your focus, like everything gets so tense that it's like you don't want to make a mistake, and it's easier to make a mistake at that point. So it's going to be interesting in the last couple of rounds, but room for connection.
Oh yeah, I feel you there, man. I'm rooting for him as well. I think it'll be a come up for Morera. Gonzalez, I mean, he did it in SuperSport. He signed for another year in Moto 2, and he seems like he wants to be like Top Rock in a sense. What are your thoughts, Reese, on what's going on in Moto 2, and who has the most to lose out of these three guys?
I mean, Gonzalez has the most to lose, I believe. I mean, he's there. I mean, it's his to lose. I mean, he needs to you're pretty much just managing. That's what he needs to do, is just manage himself and manage the points. Morera, if he can get his self together to actually do what he do when he has the used tires, the worn tires, and do it in the beginning when the tires are new, I mean, he can be a deadly person. I mean, he's going to be something that we'll keep an eye out for on the upcoming. But they said he's better when the tires are worn down. But if he could do that on new tires, he'll be absolutely great. And then with Canet, I mean, TJ, I know that's your boy, but I mean, I'm looking at Canet like a Vinales, man, for real. Like, he's a hit or miss.
Like he also won a title.
Come on.
Wait, the Canet
he don't complain.
Remember,
he don't complain. He just may hit your brake when you go by you. So, I mean, I like Canet, but man, that boy is either hit or miss. He's like, Jesus Christ, man, what are you doing? I like him, but I mean, you got to be just. I notice what winning is nothing but consistency. If you can be consistently on the podium, consistently in the top three, you have the obligation, a chance to win the championship. But just falling back there to the jungle, as you call it, in the back, right. you don't have it. You don't have that chance.
Isn't he like I don't want to say the prototype rider for what teams would want, in the sense that he lays it on the line 100% all the time. And maybe laying it on the line 100% all the time is not smart, because sometimes you have to make decisions. I mean, isn't he the kind of rider that most teams would want, though?
I mean, he is. He's what you want, as you're going to lay it out there on the line. You're going to put it out there on the line. But then again, we're, as a team member myself, I mean, the attitude, man, that's just one thing. And then the stupidness that you actually do, that's going to hurt you. It's all what you do on the outside, too. It's not just what you do on the track. It's how you carry yourself on the outside. And same way we have to carry ourselves. I mean, it's the way you carry yourself when you're just out and about, you're just walking around, or you're with the team.
Yeah, okay. I'm hearing you. You hear all that, Lewis. What are your thoughts, man? It's a close race. You heard Reese say Gonzalez has a lot to lose, but I think Canet has the most. He's been in Moto 2 the longest and has the least to show for it.
I mean, I think they both have a lot to lose. I mean, obviously, Gonzalez has the champ. I'm not gonna say he has one hand on the championship. He probably has like two fingers on the championship right now, because he's in the driver's seat. He's got the most wins. He's got the most wins. He's got the most podiums. He tends to be a little bit more consistent than Canet overall, especially over the last three races. He's definitely been way more consistent than Canet. They both had some DNFs in the last three races, but even Morera had a DNF in the last three races.
Right, but just to jump in, I think for Gonzalez, his DNFs was more mechanical. Yeah,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't him crashing or anything. It was mechanical. So but again, you win as a team, you lose as a team. So whether you crash the bike or the bike blows up, it's the same thing, man. It's a DNF. It still goes in as a DNF. So I think he probably has the most to lose, but he also is in the best position. He's in the lead already. And he knows that he's got the speed to be there. His stats already show it from the first half of the year. And now that we're down to the last 8 races, I think he, in the next couple of races, will be his moment to shine. Because if he can put that extra pressure on the 2 guys behind him by just finishing in front of them, he doesn't have to win. He just has to finish in front of them. Keep that points gap alive. That's all he has to do. From here on out, he can manage it. And this is where I think Morera is a little bit different than Canet. Canet in that position will fold faster than a Chinese lady hocked up on all the coffee in the world, because he starts to worry about winning when he should be worrying about bringing it home in front of the guy that you need to beat. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to crash or you're going to be in a bad spot in the track. Get in the front, stay in front, manage the race. Don't do anything stupid. And I think, considering where Morera is coming from, I think he has a really good attitude to do that. With that said, I think Morera will finish ahead of Canet at the end of this year. Gonzalez will win, but Morera will finish in front of Canet. Only because Morera is already coming off last year a championship. He knows what it's like to lead at the front and be at the end of the season and manage those extra points. And he's got nothing to lose. He's a rookie. Even if he tosses it down the road, you know what? You're a rookie. You're supposed to do that. The fact you're in 3rd place and you're only a few points behind a guy that's been in Moto2 for like 17 years, beat his ass. There's no reason why you can't beat him. You're only, 6, 7 points behind him at this point? 6 points behind? Dude, that's not even a podium. That's Canet finishing 12th and him finishing 7th. So...
Yeah, I wasn't sure that Morera was a rookie. I thought he was in the 2nd year, but you might be right.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
That's even
he
more
won the
impressive.
Moto3 championship last year and moved up to Moto2.
Yeah, so that's even pretty impressive to be a rookie. I mean, because I don't even think Pedro was fighting for the championship in his rookie year. Like he did in the 2nd year. Out of these 3 guys, and I'll put this all to you. Which one of these guys are taking their teammates to dinner and bringing their bags just to help them out with the races for the next 8 rounds, or is it all up to them to kind of bring it home on their own?
No, you have to bring it home as a team. The mechanics, everybody, your data guy, everybody that's in that garage with you, even though they're not riding the bike with you, they're a part of the bike with you. The guy that's tuning the bike for you, your data guy, your chassis guy, all of these people are working to make sure that you're in the best position possible to win. Of these 3 guys, honestly, I think Morera is probably the most likely to be the most humble about it, because he's in a position that he shouldn't be in. And I'm sure that the team helped him get in that position. He's probably worked a lot by himself, getting physically ready, getting mentally ready. Looking at tape, learning, understanding the data, the differences on a Moto2 bike. And I'm sure the team has, got people sitting with him constantly in between every session, going through every bit of data to see where he can find a couple of tenths here and there and take a corner a little bit different. And I'm sure he's got a rider coach that's out in different corners, seeing how he's taking the line and helping him adjust. Like, these guys at this level have a lot of people helping them. And you have to be very grateful for everybody that helps you, because the MotoGP paddock looks big from the outside, but from the inside, it's like the MotoAmerica paddock. Everybody knows each other. And if you start coming across the wrong way, it just decreases your stock. So these younger guys are always looking to stay humble, stay hungry, but stay humble, and stuff like that. At a certain point, they lose their humbleness, some of them, and become kind of dicks. Pedro Acosta, for instance, like, he's got a lot of dickishness to him. I just hate to say it. He comes across that way a lot. The way that he talks sometimes, the way he goes to the box sometimes and loses his temper and this and that. I understand it's the heat of the moment, but, I look at it myself. If I went home and something happened and I walked in my house and I told my mom, man, fuck this, and fucking throwing shit, man, I get my ass beat.
Right. But, when you've been winning your whole life, you don't know that other side.
Because I haven't been winning.
Because was the same way. Rossi was the same way. Lorenzo was the same way.
but everybody wants to win, but you know, you always have to keep your temper in check because you're not just working for this employer. You got to think about the next employer because there's no guarantee you're going to stay with this company for more than another year, or when your contract's over, it might be over. And if you get labeled as that problem child, if you get labeled as that person that's difficult to work with, it becomes more difficult to find a job, even if you are the most talented rider in the world. There's a lot of talented riders sitting home right now. We'll talk about Andrea Iannone in a little bit. Dude's got all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
My man's about to be forced into retirement. Why? He got a little bit too much dickness in him.
You know, there's some places he can go in the world to go ride if he wants.
He might be going to the Bagger Championship. That might be the only ride he gets. And he could still make something from his name. But again, his reputation, the things that he's done, missing out on practices, you know, doing all these things that were detrimental to the teams he worked on, dude, that's a lot of baggage to carry into your 30s. You know, it's not a lot when you're in your 20s and you're fast, but when you're 30s, man, this is the MotoGP is the Leonardo DiCaprio racing, man. Once you get a certain age, I got to move on to a new bitch that's younger.
Yeah, there's some of that, man. There's some of that. TJ, what are your thoughts on? I know Lewis mentioned the team and everything like that. What about the other riders? Canet's teammate, Gonzalez's teammate, Morero's teammate. You think they're gonna get in the fight and get in the way of these guys and stuff like that? Do they even have the pace to even be up front to even? Maybe Baltas, right? Because Baltas is probably the closest one. He's in fourth place, so Canet might have a little bit of help. You think their teammates are going to help out any?
I mean, not really. I don't think so. I mean, lately we just been seeing what Morero. I mean, we've been seeing Baltas up there, but his last result was 12th and then 7th. So, I mean, I know Catalunya is a pretty fast track, and it's I don't know. I don't think he's gonna get much help. For sure, but I know Anshu has had a good result this past couple, and let's see, Vietti. But as far as the teammates trying to step in the way to get in front of Gonzalez or Morero, I don't see it happening.
Okay, all right, that's what's
up. It all comes down to the qualifying, though, you know. So like that's they gotta hopefully just get out to a good start as a team, get a good setup. I mean, sometimes the team don't have a good setup, but the rider is, you know, rides around it and still can get a good time. So,
right.
Hopefully they have a good setup to interfere.
Does Canet have a teammate, or he's on a one-bike team?
No, he has a teammate, Baltas. He's also on Fantic as well. Barry Baltas.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
But then right behind him is Vietti. Oh, yeah, they're not on the same team.
No, they're not on the same team. So I'll save the team question, Reese, when we start talking MotoAmerica, because you in the thick of things, and I don't want you to double talk yourself between MotoGP and MotoAmerica. But let me ask this, because Lewis had brought up a good point about the assholeness of riders and the dickness of riders and stuff like that. Morero and Canet, they're similar in the sense that they both will fight for a position. They're not scared of the battle and stuff like that. But throughout history of Canet, he's always been on the losing side of that when he tried to fight, where Morero has always had the upper hand. Outside of that, who do you think has the better chance? Or you just go with history?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go to Morero.
I didn't hear that question.
What's for Reese?
He wants to know: is Canet gonna fold like a cheap suit?
my phone was breaking up. I missed that.
I could have said it like that too. Canet gonna fold like a cheap suit, or he's gonna be Rudy and bring one home.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Morera in that battle. I mean, Morera, like Lewis said, he's very humble, but Canet wants to win, which everybody wants to win. But in the same sense, if you know that, hey, I need to bring the most points home, Canet doesn't understand that concept yet. You need to win. Yeah, you want to win, but if it's not your day, the best sense is just to gain the most maximum points you can, not throw it down a chute and now you got a crash fest or a parts list going down, and that's Knet's problem. He just wants to win and he wants to push and bang up on people. And I'm like, no, that's not what you need to do. Just gain the most maximum points you can do, your best effort, and bring it home safe and sound where we can go home and gain the most points. And that's the best sense in that case. And I think Moreira has the better chance of that instead of Knet.
All right. Well, we're gonna see, man, and we'll circle back to this as this weekend is coming up in Cataluna. Well, let's jump over to World Superbike because, like I said, there's a lot of championships. We got to talk about Superbike between Top Rock and Bulaga. It doesn't seem like there's anyone else that may push up close to those guys in the championship, which is that's a whole different story. There's 4 rounds left of World Superbike, so it's getting close. What are your thoughts? You guys think that Top Rock can defend it? Do you think that Bulaga need to run his race and not worry about the championship this year? Because next year and probably the next few years is his to lose. Start with TJ.
No, I think Bulaga wants to win now. I mean, to beat someone who is the champ, it means a lot too. So he's definitely been trying. You can see it all year. He didn't want to go through any mistakes, and when he did, it showed it. But I think he still wants to put in the fight to try to win this championship. Which he just got to finish in front of Top Rock. That's all. Which is not easy said than done, but I know once Top Rock goes to MotoGP, I'm sure it's all Bulaga show for maybe a couple of years. We'll see, but I think he definitely wants to put the fight into the end of the season. He's only down a couple points anyway. 26.
28.
28.
26, my bad. Yeah, 26.
26. So, hopefully he can pull it out.
Yeah, I hope so. Reese, what are your thoughts there with Top Rock and Bulaga? It feels like it's Top Rock's to lose because he's been riding so well lately. The only thing I can see that can jack him up was, similar to last year when he got hurt and he had to recover. I really don't see. I don't know what the 2026 Panigale looks like, but it seems like the 24 Panigale is just a little bit not a full match to the BMW or the way Top Rock is riding it.
Well, I mean, you got to think. Top Rock is a different kind of animal. He can ride any bike to beyond a limit. He's rode that R1 beyond his limit when he actually was on there. But besides Top Rock having a DNF or something barring us out of his control of a malfunction or anything like that, it's Top Rock to lose. But the same thing with TJ said. I think Bulaga wants to win and he wants to win now because that will solidify Bulaga's run. If I'm playing against the best, I want to beat the best. And right now, Top Rock is the best. So if Top Rock leave and I win, does that really say that I'm the best? That just says I'm the best now, but I didn't beat the best. And that's where Bulaga might want to stand at, and he wants to beat the best to say I am the best.
What are your thoughts about that, Lewis? You think that Bulaga is thinking that, which also maybe he's thinking next year if he beat Top Rock this year, does that put a little bit of fear into the guys for next season and saying, hey, we don't stand a chance as well? What are your thoughts on what?
Whether or not he beats Top Rock or not, that fear is going to be there next year because his performance the last 2 years has just been on another planet. The only person that's really given him any competition has been Top Rock. And last year, he had as good an opportunity last year as he has this year to win the championship. He's only 26 points behind, and that's one race. If he wins one race and Top Rock has a DNF, like now they're down to a point difference. With 4 races left, if he was to win every race and Top Rock came in second, Top Rock would still win the championship. But again, he's just got to go out there and ride the best he can. As a competitor, I would think that he wants to beat Top Rock while Top Rock's still in World Superbike. Like he doesn't want to wait till next year to win a championship. He wants to win a championship this year. and he wants to beat Top Rat before he disappears. Because when Top Rat is gone, like everybody else says, yeah, you're the champion, but you're the champion because the previous champion vacated the belt. You didn't beat him for the belt. And at the end of the day, your check still looks the same, whether you beat the champ to become the champ or not. You're still going to get paid really well to be the champ. But as a personal goal, I would think Nicolo Bulega wants to be Top Rat before Top Rat goes away. Because looking at the rest of the field now, I hate to say it, I mean, he's probably going to be able to walk away with the championship next year.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody moving to a bike or to a position that's going to be able to compete with him right off the bat. And if the new Ducati that they're going to race next year is even better than what he's racing in now, and he's doing as good as he is doing now on this bike that maybe is slightly inferior to the BMW, then, you know, he's going to pull a Marc Marquez in World Superbike. He's going to be the guy to beat every single weekend, every single sprint, he might run the table because he's not going to have anybody that's going to be competing. The closest guy to him this year is who? Petrucci. Yeah. And Petrucci is 150 points behind him.
Hey, he's going to be on a factory bike next year.
Yeah, he could be on 2 factory bikes. He's still going to be way back there.
He's still going to be way back there.
Yeah, man. So I hope that it comes down to the wire. I hope Nicolo Bulega is able to pull out 1 or 2 wins in the next couple of races, get that margin down, and maybe take it down to like the last weekend of the year and actually have a shootout head-to-head with Top Rack and just see who's the best at the end of the year at the last track. Yeah. Like that's, like for me, I love that. That's the poetic side of racing is, you line up on that last race of the year. And let's say there's like a 6-point difference and you have to beat the guy. You have to beat him by at least 2 or 3 positions to make sure you clear that. And you battle and you see who's the real champ, man. So yeah, I just hope Top Rack doesn't run away with it because then we got 2 runaways in 1 year and that does suck.
That does suck. You mentioned Bulega. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I was going to say that last year Top Rack didn't race at this track because I think he was injured. And Bulega ran away with 2 races out of it. So he's definitely got an edge right now to take advantage. But, we'll see how that goes.
Right. You mentioned something, Lewis, about, Bulega wanting to win this year and maybe have some regrets. What is it about, and I don't know if we can answer it in today's show or even in the future, what is about folks that, Jordan still think about the 1 championship he didn't win and rather be able to play that than have the 6 he have. Brady's thinking about the 2 that got away from him. Rossi's thinking about 2015. What is it with guys? And Bulega hasn't lived that yet. He may if he doesn't win this year and win next year. What is it about people that, lose sleep over? And you talk about the checks. They're not struggling for money. So they got enough checks to be like, I shouldn't be sweating this. But what is it about, like, people that, hold on to the ones that the losses that got away from them? Start with DJ.
Yeah. Start with DJ. Give me
That's a tough one. We see it, man. We see it,
Because you look back at the what ifs, like only if I did this one thing, this would have changed. And you start, contemplating and doubting certain situations because you almost had it. Like it's just going back to the Patriots, when we lost to the Giants, they threw a Hail Mary and it should have been batted down. And, I didn't want to bring up that second one, but there was one where they threw the Hail Mary, it should have been batted down. He caught it on his neck, and it's just like, if that catch didn't happen, we would have had another ring, So I always still think about that. It's just certain things where you just want perfection. You just want perfection. So.
Or that year y'all lost to the Eagles where we knocked y'all out.
Oh yeah, all right. Good. How many rings y'all got?
Hey, we still put y'all on the shelf though.
You did.
We had to put y'all on the shelf.
Not a lot of teams did, and I guess Rossi and Marquez and these guys are saying, and Jordan, not a lot of people have, but the ones that have, it still hurts. But you want to add anything to that, Reese? You're in the game still and stuff like that. So, is do you have from memory one that got away from you and you can lend a little bit how these guys feel with the ones that they've lost?
One that got away from us. I say, I can't remember what year that was. That was when Tony Elias took it. I mean, that got away from us a little bit. I mean, it's always that what if. It's just like TJ said, it's that what if. What if we did this a little better? What if we did that? And we could have had it if we didn't crash here, didn't do that. So you're always going to live in that moment and say, "Dang, we could have had this," and solidified a certain, aspect of where we're at. But after a while, you kind of just move on and go on to the next one. But still, always going to live in that era and still live in that light, because you want to be the most dominant person or the dominant team in the paddock. You want to be in that era of greatness, like Brady, Jordan. We want to be in that era of the greatest teams. When you look back at it, so.
Yeah, you want to go in battle with some gladiators. You don't want to win a war and there was no one else on the battlefield to oppose you. Numbers guy. I mean, you hear these two guys here. You care about check and you care about the overall. So is there one one trophy that gets away as long as the check has got all the proper commas in place? It's a trophy.
No, I mean, the guys at the top of this sport are like any athlete at the top of their sport. They had to maintain this level of aggression and this level of competitiveness to be at the top of the sport. Because like any sport, if you really want to be the best of the sport, you got to wake up earlier than everybody else. You got to work harder than everybody else. You got to be mentally and physically better than everybody else. Like you got to push yourself that much further. And these guys that are at the top that are really battling, the guys like your Valentino Rossi's, your Jorge Lorenzo's, the guys that really put their stamp on any career, whether it's in motorcycle racing, in football like a Tom Brady, in basketball like a Michael Jordan, like a Magic Johnson, a Larry Bird. Like competition is what they're all about. That competitiveness is what gets them up in the morning, because money's not getting up in the morning because they got more money than they need. Fame is not getting them up because they're more famous than they're ever going to need. The only thing that gets them up is that juice, that fire to be better than the next person. If an athlete loses that, and I feel that there's a lot of athletes that have lost that have become complacent. Like I'm the 7th place guy, so I'm just going to work as hard as the 7th place guy needs to be. But these guys at the top that stay at the top for years, not 1 or 2 years, because you can have 1 or 2 years where you're just lucky and you end up a championship, Johan Mir, but then you don't ever do anything ever again.
I was waiting for that.
You ride around for your 6th, 7th place, you get your check, you create a nice little career for yourself. But these guys at the top, they're not worried about the career. They start worrying about, they're worried about, I got to win. Like for them, it's all about the win. They have the money, they have everything else, but they still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They still do their, Pilates. They still go run that 3-4 miles. They still go ride that bike, 100 miles in a day. They still do all these things because they just have that competitiveness that no money in the world can quench. I mean, to this day, Michael Jordan will compete against anybody in golf and put big money down because he just wants that competition. He wants to prove like, hey, I'm still this competitive. Like there's not right now he's in a battle against NASCAR.
I know.
And honestly, I think he wants to win because he doesn't understand not winning. Yeah. And that's the kind of mentality that these guys have at the very top. And it will eat Bulaga if he doesn't beat Top Rank. Even if he becomes champion next year, it'll still eat him that for 2 years he couldn't beat this one guy.
Right. When he was healthy.
When he was healthy, when he was on a competitive bike, when he was, at the top of his game, when that he still didn't beat this one guy. He's This is that elusive. This is the what's the Eleanor? This is his Eleanor. This is his GT 500 Eleanor that he can't seem to steal because something always happens.
Hey, listen, I mean, we'll see because next year might be a little bit crazy too because they'll be on a new bike. Well, let's jump into World Superbike.
Great White Buffalo. It's a Great White Buffalo.
Sure is. Let's talk about World Supersport before we get into MotoAmerica. Stefano Manzi and Ken Anchu is a surprise. I have to honestly say I didn't see him, being the number 2 guy in the championship, or Masia for that as well, because Masia is a rookie coming over from Moto2 to SuperSports. What do you guys think? Is this a foregone conclusion that Manzi seems like he's the bully in SuperSport? I think he just looks at people and they go the other way. What are your thoughts on Manzi? He's up at least by 60 points, give or take 59 points or something like that. He just got to hold off these guys. But Catanchu and Messi, these guys have been riding well lately. What are your thoughts, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I like Catanchu and Masia, but I haven't really been following so much the World Supersport. But Manzi is one that I've been seeing holding his own, and I think that he'll probably take it away. Being up for almost 60 points, I feel like it's more manageable coming to this stage. When you get closer to like the 25, 20-point range, then you worry about more mistakes and stuff like that. So, and I feel like more of Anshu and Messiah will try to battle for that second place. But I think he'll pull it off. It's definitely something to look forward to. I know there's a lot of racing this weekend, but I definitely want to watch all the classes because I know it's a tight battle coming to the finish. So you got to see all the camaraderie and all the battles and the fighting that goes on inside the paddock and outside.
Yeah. Reese, it'll be a win-win for you. Got Yamaha boys. Manzi's been fighting against Bulaga a couple of years ago, and then last year against Gonzalez, and Gonzalez has now moved over to Moto2. And he may be kind of feeling like I wanted to beat Bulaga, I wanted to beat Gonzalez, and now he's sitting here next to Canon Chu, sitting here like saying, "Man, I gotta beat this guy." Can is no slouch, but what are your thoughts with those two guys, the Yamaha boys?
Can's no slouch. He's a hell of a rider. Manzi he's on a tear. He's on a different level. I think it's his to lose. It's nice to see the Yamahas up there, and the R9s are taking it away. They're taking it away in all the super sport categories. It's pretty nice to see that. And I think Manzi's actually going to take it. I'm looking forward to seeing Manzi up there. But Ken, I think he's going to be a problem child for next year. I think he's actually going to be one of the top riders that go compete, and I think you'll see him. I give it within the next year or so, not next year, but maybe after that. You probably see him up there in the World Superbike stage.
You think Yamaha can call you up and tell you to tell Canon Chu that he has to take second place to Manzi? You think anyone can tell him there's a team order?
I don't think there's no team order there. I think it's just don't take each other out. I think that's the order. Just don't take each other out. Do what y'all do, but don't take each other out yet. Just let's go.
Because Manzi's going to World Superbike, so he's getting a bump, right? So for him, it's his only shot.
I think that's where we're going to see him shine at, and see hopefully we can, have some more competitive nature up there next year for us for the World Superbike paddock.
Okay, all right. What are your thoughts, Lewis, on the Super Sport class and the Yamahas, and should there be team order, or can Ken put up the kind of fight that he has to put up, because he has to be ruthless to beat Manzi?
No, he can put up the kind of fight it takes. The thing is, Manzi is just a little bit more of a seasoned veteran, and probably is a little bit more mentally strong, sly in the way he goes about his racecraft. Canon Chu is I'm not going to say he's young, but he's younger, and he's still a very competitive guy coming from Moto2. Seeing the guys that are in the top of World Supersport, knowing that some of these guys came from Moto2, just goes to show you the level of talent in Moto2. The level of talent there is unbelievable. And when Stefano Manzi kind of moves up next year, I mean, it looks like Moto2 riders that are moving from Moto2 to World Superbike are pretty much going to dominate World Superbike, which is really wild to me. But again, it just shows the level of talent in Moto2 that they can move over to World Supersport and kind of just, be right at the tip of the sword, be in the top 5, be in the top 6 in the first year that they're over here. I think Anshu will put up a good fight. And as long as Manzi keeps the rubber side down, I think he's smart enough to manage his points lead and get through the finish line. So hopefully he stays healthy, he stays safe, nothing goes wrong, and he'll move up to Superbike. And then next year, Anshu and all these other young, kids are really gonna put on a great show. I think Supersport, like Moto2, is the most entertaining class to watch, because this is where young boys are growing into men, and growing men have to decide, how far am I going to go with this? Can I get to the next level? And it's just such a great mix of talent to see some of these young guys actively competing with these guys that have been there for a while, and just, no fear, man, no fear, lots of talent, ready to go, not coming with any excuses, just coming with, piss and vinegar, ready to fight.
Yeah. Before we go into MotoAmerica, I will say it seems like, and you guys can kind of chime in, it seems like to me, and I'll pick on Mir since you brought up Mir. The Mir, the Quartararo, we'll even throw back Naya and these guys. When they came out of Moto2 into MotoGP, the Moto2 grid wasn't as deep, hungry, I think, or grimy as it is today. Is that fair to say?
It wasn't as deep.
Right.
Yeah. Now I feel that in the last maybe 6 years, probably 6 years, maybe 7, just before COVID, it seems like Moto2 got a lot more competitive, because remember they used to run on the CBR motor.
Yep.
And it was, pretty much a stock series. You couldn't mess with the ECU. It was a sealed motor. It was a sealed disc. And it's still the same. But I think in the last few years, especially with the change to the Triumph motor, and they've got more torque and everything else, these guys are just becoming a lot more competitive. And the guys coming out of Moto3, they're just coming out of Moto3 like elbows as sharp as they can be, ready to fight. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a little bit less courteous now, but it's definitely less courteous now, man. They still think they're on Moto3 bikes.
Yeah, I think these young kids are testing big street bikes that are modified, obviously, for the track. So they're on 600 and thousands now. So when they jump on to Moto2, they're not worried about the power. It's just suspension and chassis.
Yep.
So, okay, let's jump into MotoAmerica. Reese, hopefully you're not getting any gray hairs from this or losing any sleep. You got 2 rounds, 5 races. Your rookie, as far as the team, is leading the championship, close in the points. Which is pretty cool to see from a spectator standpoint, I have to say. Let's talk about what has it been like. You guys just had testing a week ago. What's the team like these last few rounds? It's been a couple of weeks since we spoke last, so 2 weeks has passed. Have you lost like 5-10 pounds? What's going on?
No, you still got the pounds on there, but no, it is stressful. We still go in there with the same mentality. We want to win. We're going there expecting to win. Of course, we're going to horsepower. Everyone knows we're going to Coda, and that's horsepower alley. But we have our ways, and we have the skill level where we can compete. And we're looking to go to win, or most likely still a round. Then we go on to Jersey, where it's a little bit more suitable for us, I believe, and see where we go at.
Okay. All right. Let me ask this. At the beginning of the year, after Herring came off his win, and at the beginning of the year into now, do you guys, feel like you're in the you're poised to steal one, or do you feel like you guys, regardless of who won last year, you guys felt like you were there to you had what it takes to be where you are at right now?
I mean, we always have that feeling of, to be where we're at nowadays. I mean, not saying anything, but people was pretty much counting us out, and we were like, don't count us out. I was like, that's one bad move to actually do, is to count that team, our team, out. I mean, we've been together for quite a long time. And like Lewis said, it's not just the rider that's going to win, it's the team that wants to win as well. So, and I mean, there's a lot of tricks that you can pull up your sleeve, and, we just go with our mindset saying, hey, we're going in here to win. We want to do our very best and be up there in the battle. You never know what can happen. It is racing, and, it can, be anybody's day. So that's what we want. And we want to be up there in the battle, up there in the top 3 or, top 4, or whatever it is, up there in that front row, that front group of guys. I mean, we're going here to Coda, and, we're looking and expecting to either win or, like I said, steal one.
So we're looking forward to it, man. We can't wait. TJ, what are your thoughts on the championship? It's really close. I know you're a Heron and a Cam Bobier guy. You're a Yamaha guy. I mean, you might have 2 different beers you're drinking at once, man. What are your thoughts on the championship?
Yeah,
an end.
I mean, I like Josh Herron, and he's fortunate that he had a little injury from the last round, so I'm sure he'll be ready to go. But like I said, he's like a one-man show out there.
I heard he broke his leg in several places, like Rossi did a few years back.
Man, I don't know what's going on over there, but
can you hear it? I just don't want to interrupt when my eyes roll.
Well, go ahead, TJ, man.
But the Yamaha camp, man, like Gagne is sitting in 4th right now, and Bobby Fong working his way up to take the lead in the championship. I feel like that team focus right now is at a high intensity right now. So I feel like it starts with Reese to make sure to get them all there safe at the track and on time to get everyone's head together. But I think it's going to be a good weekend, at Coda to see what Bobby Fong can do out there. I know Bobby and BMW, he's going to put down a fight. So it's going to be racing, high intensity. So it could be anyone's day, but I'm sure Bobby can hold it off.
All right, so we have to make sure nobody kidnap Reese, right? I'm trying to do the cartoon show that I can't even remember that someone was always getting kidnapped. But what are your thoughts, Lewis, on the way things are right now?
What cartoons are you watching?
I don't want to say it's Beavis or Butthead or what it is. It's nothing crazy. So, don't you worry.
I find it really interesting that you find a fracture 3 weeks after you break something. I'm not a orthopedist, but most X-rays will reveal a fracture in the first couple of X-rays, not 3 weeks later. And there's a certain somebody, I'm not going to name him by name, that found a fracture 3 weeks later. And to me, it feels almost like setting up an excuse to make himself not accountable, and also setting himself up to look like a superhero in case he wins. Because if you release something like that I fractured my leg 3 weeks later, and then you go into a race and you win, oh, look at him, Josh is great. He battled through the pain of a broken leg to win the race and blah, blah, blah. But if he loses, well, you understand, he's out there battling, but he's battling on a broken leg. Look, man, Rossi had a broken leg. That was a legit broken leg. Finding an X-ray 3 weeks later that says you have a fracture, I mean, all right, if you say so. But, unfortunately, Josh Herron has cried wolf too many times for me to take it seriously when he says something like that. So, I'm not going to give him a pass on that.
All right.
Hey, I thought you wasn't saying no names.
I didn't say no last names. There's more than one Josh in the paddock. I didn't say it was Josh. There's more than one.
It's only one Josh on SuperBike though.
I didn't say he was on a SuperBike. See, there you go. You're assuming. Why are you assuming this? It could have been Josh from the Twins Cup. You know?
Oh, man.
But again, maybe it's mind games, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. At the end of the day, you still got to go on the track and you got to prove it. You got to race. If you got diarrhea, you got to race. If you got a stomachache, you got to race. If you got a flu, you got to race. There's been plenty of riders that have raced in adverse conditions and put everything they can into it and didn't do social media posts for 2 weeks or 3 weeks after an event and do all this other stuff and try to get the fans on their side because, I'm injured on this and that. You weren't winning when your leg was good. If your leg is actually fractured. So now that your leg's fractured, you're going to do better? Or you're just trying to set up excuses to either cover your, the lack of your ability to bring it home after you kind of were walking away with the championship? Or you're trying to make yourself set up so that if you do win the championship, now you can kind of be like, yeah, I pushed through all this pain and all this struggle and all this effort. And, I give so much thanks to my team. Come on, bro. Just go fucking race.
Aren't that how superhero stories made?
That's how
remember back when the Celtics.
That's how villains are made.
So
I remember back in the Celtics when they carried.
Syndrome wasn't a superhero. Syndrome was a bad guy.
So the cartoon was South Park, and
who used to get kidnapped?
Huh?
Who used to get kidnapped on South Park?
I don't know. I think Kenny was always talking about somebody getting kidnapped. From what I can remember. Well, we're gonna leave Reese out of this because he's competing in the championship as part of the team. But let's ask TJ and Lewis. I mean, how do you see it playing out towards the end here? You got Cam in there. We got Heron that he's how healthy or not he is, and you got Bobby Fong who seems to be at the right place at the right time.
I mean, I think it's just tight. Like I said, it might come down to Jersey, and the last time I've been in Jersey, a couple of Yamahas won there, so it's gonna be interesting to see who can take Coda, because I would probably decide for sure, who's gonna win the series. But I think Bobby can hold it off. He's only up a couple points. Like I said, that BMW got a lot of horsepower. So see if they can hold off the BMW basically to stay up front. But I feel like they're going to be on the podium, the Yamahas. I feel like.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be between the Yamahas and the Ducati really, because Cam has just been up and down this season. Even though he's right there in the points, it's just he's kind of like a crash away sometimes. What are your thoughts, Lewis?
I think it's going to come down to the BMW and the Yamaha. If Yamaha can leave Coda with 2 good podiums, they don't have to win. Just be on the podium, keep the points really close. I think the biggest competition right now, or the biggest threat, is definitely Beaubier. At Coda, he's going to have a huge horsepower advantage. And that is a fast track. That's like a horsepower track. That's very similar to like your Road Atlantas or these bigger tracks where horsepower does make a difference. But I think it'll come down to, again, unless something crazy happens at Coda where there's some DNFs or something like that, it'll come down to Jersey. And the great thing about Jersey is not a horsepower track. Jersey is a technique track. Mm-hmm. Horsepower doesn't matter there because the fastest bikes to ever go around that track have been in the low 120s. Forever. The track's been open now, I think 17 years.
2008.
So 17 years or 18 years later, the fastest time is still the same fastest time from when the track almost opened. So that lets you know that nobody's going faster at this track. Nobody's found a way to find another second and a half of this track in almost 20 years. Why? Because the track doesn't allow for it. It's not configured for that. It's configured for style, for technique, for corner entry, for speed. It's not a horsepower track. So you take horsepower out of the equation, and now it just comes straight up to riders, setup, and determination. Again, Beaubier has won a lot of races at New Jersey. So I think he right now is the biggest threat to the Yamaha team because, I remember when Beaubier was on a SuperSport bike. I'm not going to say a date because I already know I'm old enough, but he went out there and he set a lap time on a SuperSport that would have put him in third place on SuperBike that year on the grid. And this is years ago because, Tommy Aquino was still racing. All these guys were still racing in SuperSport. This is a long time ago. And Cameron Beaubier. Yeah. Damn. And Cam Beaubier went down to breakfast and pretty much told all the YES guys, because this is when Yamaha had the YES teams. And what was the other one? Clark Racing was still the racing. And he pretty much told them, he's like, hey, I'm going to go out today and I'm going to set the fastest lap anybody has ever set on 600 this morning. So good luck keeping up with me. And then he went out and he wiped the field with them the entire day. So the dude's had a lot of laps around Jersey and he knows how to get around there fast, man. So again, I think it's going to come down to Yamaha and BMW. BMW has the edge at Coda. And then it's just going to be grit and determination for Yamaha and BMW, who wants it most at Jersey.
Oh, man.
Listen.
Go ahead.
I got to say this. Here we go. Y'all do. It's only 17. We're up 17 points on Cameron in first. So, like Lewis said, I think as long as we get on the podium, if Cam wins and we take third both races, we'll still take the lead going into Jersey.
Yep.
And that's where you want to be. You want to be able to take the lead or maximize the most points you can have. And going into Jersey is the big monster, the triple header. And the one thing that comes into Jersey that a lot of people forget is weather. That rain is going to play a big factor if it does rain. And I can tell you this, those Yamahas are a weapon when it comes to the wet. They're a weapon. You can ask JD that one, and he'll tell you. So when it comes to the wet, that Yamaha is a weapon in the wet. And, so, like Lewis said, it's going to come down to it's pretty much going to come down to Jersey's round to see where we're at. Like TJ and Lewis said, it's going to come down to Jersey. So, but as long as we can stay right there coming into Coda, I think we'll be just fine.
Nice. I'm looking forward to watching it, and I may text you just to see if you're smiling. We'll see how it goes. I try not to bother people when they're working because I know how that is. Let's talk about the SuperSport class. It's between PJ Jacobs and Matthew Schultz at the moment. Schultz is defending the title. PJ's looking really good. We're talking about 7 points difference there. I don't know if in Jersey do SuperSport have 3 races or if it's just the SuperBike that does that. What are your thoughts about the SuperSport race? A few rounds ago, it was looking a lot closer than it is right now as far as more riders. It's only 2 guys that are fighting for it. What are your thoughts, TJ?
And I've been around PJ Jacobson before, so I would love to see him come back in and take the lead and win it for sure. I know Schultz before has been trying for so long and always coming up short, and now he's got a championship. I know a lot of people have their ifs about his attitude and stuff like that, but I think he might hold it off. But I really hope PJ pulls it off. I want to see that Ducati win it with the team that he's on with Kayla. So it's the Apex.
Right. So. Reese, are you able to comment on Ducati in a nice way?
I mean, I can comment on a nice way. I mean, the bike is what it is. I mean, the bike is one hell of a bike. I mean, it's quick. I mean, it has a lot of low end torque, a lot of grunt. But with the way that Matthew's riding, I mean, I think he'll end up taking it. I mean, hopefully he can keep his head on his shoulders and do well and not have any foreseen errors, malfunctions on the bike, or ride a little bit above the limit, and run off or kind of do anything crazy. But I think if he stays right there, and I think if he keeps his head on his shoulders, I talk to Matt every race, every round. I'll go up and talk to him, and tell him to keep his head on his shoulder, and he usually does fine. But I think at the end, I think it's going to come down to a 2-bike shootout coming into Jersey. It's a 2-round. 2-race round at Jersey. I think it might come down to that, and same thing as the Superbikes. So I'm looking forward to having, being honest, I'm looking forward to a Yamaha running away with a double Superbike SuperSport win.
Yeah, all right. I mean, we'll be at the parade.
It'll be a little wet though.
That's all right. That's all right. We like champagne. It's the only time we can have champagne, right?
Right.
What are your thoughts, Lewis, on SuperSport with what's going on with Schultz and Jacobson, and to add to what Reese says about Schultz? I mean, he's the closest thing that's riding to like a Manzi or a Top Rock on a bike, where he's been able to make that Yamaha do some things that the other Yamaha riders. I know Blake is close, but Schultz is doing it a little different.
Yeah, I think this championship's going to go to Schultz. I think he's going to defend his championship. He won it last year pretty resoundingly with some really great podiums. But I think this year he's got a little bit of extra fire under his belly to win another one. I think there's going to be some changes next year that's going to give him an opportunity to move back up into Superbike. And I think he wants to cap off this part of his career in SuperSport with another championship. And I just think that he can ride the wheels off the bike. I've seen him riding that bike, and I see him doing things on that bike that really are special. That's the best way I can put it. There's something special. And I think after the last little blow up that him and PJ had, I think he's got even a little bit more fire in his belly to just beat PJ's ass. And this is opportunity to kind of go out with a big, hey, you know what? I know you got little man syndrome, but there you go. I just won another championship from you, being a bigger man physically and emotionally.
God, ruthless, yo.
Jesus.
Yo, if you don't want the fact, don't listen, man.
Ruthless, yo.
But it's true. I think PJ really hurt himself with that little blow up he had. And, and it just, this is the kind of thing that somebody like Matt will take as motivation to be like, you know what? Now I even got more reason to beat your ass, because I guarantee you when he does win that championship, he's going to definitely poke the bear a little bit on his way out the door. So I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Blake really steps up this weekend at COTA and kind of steps in and even buffers between himself and PJ and Matt to even help Matt out a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if the Strack team kind of, gave Blake a little bit of incentive to slow PJ down and maybe leave COTA with the championship.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think that's that. I mean, I think Schultz has a better chance of having Davis help him out than the PJ Jacobs teammates, because they just haven't been they're close to the front, but they haven't been out front like that. And Davis has shown that he can run out front, so at least he has a chance to get in the way. But if you can't get in the way, you can't help your teammate out at all. So I agree with you there. I mean, I think that it's a good chance for the Yamaha boys to wrap it up sooner than later.
Yeah, if PJ gets involved, or if he can stay in the mix, I seriously think that the Yamaha team will leave COTA, if not with the championship, with a pretty good lock on the championship. Maybe they only need one race at Jersey to really put a stamp on it. It won't come down to the last race of the year. That's my feeling.
That's right. That's what we like to hear, man. There's a few more rounds left. We're already well past the hour and change marker, so I think we're gonna wrap it and not talk about what's coming this weekend. We can wrap up on Monday or Wednesday if you guys are around for that. But I want to thank you guys. It's been very insightful. Just talking about these championships because it's crunch times and I kind of wish I was in your shoes, Reese. But when the champagne is popping, not right now.
It comes down to it's stressful, man.
Because I think the good thing for you guys is you guys have done it already, and so you guys know what to expect. But when teams are that close to winning the big one, man, I gotta assume there's a lot less sleep happening and a lot more sweating happening.
You 100% right about that.
So I want to thank you guys. Right. Yeah, no, for sure, man. It's wild. I want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. I want to thanks the listeners for commenting and continue to like and subscribe and shout us out on social media and all that fun stuff. We really appreciate it because without you guys, we couldn't be doing it up here ourselves. We got Reese from Attack Yamaha. We got TJ from Two Wheels and Coffee. We got the real Luis Ortega, the numbers guy, and does a whole bunch of other things as well. My name is Rex Fortyfive. This is the Be Forever Cool Show. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.